going on, guys? I'm back with another one, and I just watched a movie called Renfield, starring Nicole, Awkwafina, and the crazy man, Nicolas Cage. Okay, first of all, speaking of Awkwafina, we just mentioned that. All right, I need to talk about comedic actresses, not just any comedic actress. All right, I'm talking about the comedic actress where when you look at a movie cover for like a DVD or a Blu-ray or whatever, wherever we're watching these days, you see that actress and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's the one that's gonna have me rolling. All right, I don't care. She's not gonna disappoint. I don't care what everybody else is doing in the movie. That particular actress is not gonna disappoint me. All right, and we're gonna start this off with, of course, Awkwafina. All right, she's been in the game for quite a while now, even though, despite how young she is. All right. And, I know her from movies like Neighbors 2, Ocean's 8, and Crazy Rich Asians. And speaking of that, even though we have a lot of Asian actresses and actors that are hilarious, trust me. But when it comes to female Asian actresses in particular, she's the one. She's the one that for me has made me laugh the most. Okay? It's just like every time you see her in a movie, you're like, oh, and the movie could be horrible. Hint, hint. Horrible as hell. But once you see her character reappear, you're like, oh, thank goodness. I get to be entertained. For as long as she's up on that screen, I get to be entertained in this movie. At least. All right? She does that with the raspy voice and just her nonchalant attitude about everything. All right? You don't see they don't show this in a lot of female Asian actresses, especially in American films. Okay? So thank her for that. All right? Then we have Melissa McCarthy. Now, she's a vet. All right? There's no need to even really keep trying to introduce her. You know who that is. All right. The thing with her, she's had all these big titled movies. She had, all right, and she starred in all these movies, right? A lot of them. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the movies that she cameoed in or she was just a co-star in. Because those to me are probably the best ones for her. All right. Movies like Bridesmaid, This Is 40. Yeah, The Boss, even though she was a lead in that, but still, that's probably one of the best lead ones for me. All right, but with those first two, what does it for me is even though she's not the main character, she's that character that you remember the most. All right, she did that with This Is 40 most definitely, and then in Bridesmaid, that was her breakout role. I think that was her breakout role, even though she did movies before that. That was her definite breakout role. I was like, who is this crazy woman on this plane? All right. And her real husband was on that plane too, I believe. All right. So yes, that really did it for me. Unfortunately, her career is not in that direction anymore. I don't know what's going on with her career right now, but she's got to get back on it, man. She's really got back on it. Then we have Kat Dennings. Okay, let me explain. Because a lot of people are not going to look at Kat Dennings as your traditional comedic actress because of how she looks. And I'm not saying that comedic actresses are not beautiful or look good or anything like that. Just in this case, the way she comes off, you don't think off the bat comedy until she actually starts talking, or just whatever character she's playing, it's always going to be this level of sarcasm with her. She did this in 40-Year-Old Virgin, her show or their show Two Broke Girls, and then she did this in all the Thor movies she was in. All right, she was easily that sarcastic friend that's just going to say what's on her mind immediately. All right, without a hesitation or anything of the sort. She does this. She's so good at that. And to look the way she looks, it kind of throws you off a little bit, like, oh, well, she has humor. So no, that's her superpower. All right. And then we have Wanda Sykes. Oh man, Wanda Sykes has been doing it for a while now. For all you youngsters, okay? Thanks to Chris Rock. All right, he put her on. And Wanda Sykes, I know her for a lot of movies like Pootie Tang, Jexy. She's been on the show Curb Your Enthusiasm for a little minute. The thing with Wanda Sykes, she has this harshness to her that she delivers with such a funny voice. And it's such a voice of attitude, which is why she's so able to easily do voiceovers for cartoons, because it's an original voice. It's a voice that when you hear it, you know it's Wanda Sykes. You immediately know this is Wanda Sykes. I'm already laughing. Well, it's just the way she sounds. Okay, then she has that attitude and that sarcasm, that's very harsh sarcasm that you better be ready for. And I like that. I like that because it's made me laugh so many times, without a doubt. Okay. Then we have Rebel Wilson. Now, Rebel Wilson was more known back in her early days for, the look she had then. All right. She changed her look drastically, or, with a procedure. I don't agree with that procedure that she did. I liked the older, but you can't tell someone what to do with their own body. But that's whole other story I want to get to. She's known for movies like How to Be Single, The Brothers Grimsby, and Jojo Rabbit. All right. Now with her character, she's insane. Okay. Her character is usually just all over the place. A lot of people have had complaints about this, which if they're going to complain about her, complain about Melissa McCarthy too, because they're kind of doing this almost the same thing, just one is British and one is not. All right. So come on, let's cut that out. All right. Let's cut that out. I still respect her for what she used to do. I'm not sure how she's doing now, but I love what she used to do. She had this just I don't care kind of attitude, and she felt like that person you could just hang out with. All right. that was her vibe. And so I respect her for that. Okay. And then we have KATHRYN HAHN. I know you know who this is. Okay. She's been riding with Will Ferrell since day one. She's been in movies like The Step Brothers, The Goods, Bad Moms. I know you know that. She is that woman that just, I don't think you're gonna be ready to know what's on her mind. All right, she's brash, she's in your face, she's loud. She was very unexpected when she showed up on Step Brothers. That's the first time I saw her was on Step Brothers. All right, and that role in the bathroom was insane. Okay, that was insane. Insanity and purity. Pure insanity right there. What she did. All right. And she's not afraid to go there. She has the whole comedic look to her. The smile, the grin, everything about her is just, it screams that crazy woman that you don't know where she's going to come from. All right. Enjoyed her very much. Last but not least, Kate McKinnon. Now, this is a gem that we all knew from SNL, all right? Not only was it SNL, she was on Ghostbusters, and she also was on Masterminds. She kind of came out of nowhere for me, because at the time, I really wasn't watching SNL like that. And then all of a sudden, I saw previews of her being one of the new Ghostbusters or female Ghostbusters, and her just like stealing the scene. And when I went to go see the movie, that movie was horrible. Okay, but she was just one of the national treasures, or the points of the movie that you were like, oh man, once again, we're doing it again. Oh man, oh, she's back in the scene. What's she gonna do? Because ain't nobody else doing a damn thing. Okay, it's all about her for me at this point. Okay, so she's really not afraid to just be her. And that's also what I admired about an SNL. When I started watching SNL, she might have got me to start watching SNL again. But she really carried SNL. She carried SNL. I don't care what you think. She really did carry SNL. Believe it or not. All right. And then when she was gone, it did a pitfall. It did a strong pitfall. All right. And now we're back to Awkwafina again with our movie Renfield. Is Awkwafina gonna, not disappoint in this one? But to find out, let's go. Renfield, for those who don't know, for those who aren't aware, I don't know what to tell you on this one because really it's an on the fence situation. The previews were on for a little bit, and then after a while, it just kind of fizzled down on those previews. So I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but I think I'm going to let you slide for this time. All right, don't worry. There'll be next time. Renfield. It's pretty much about a familiar named Renfield, of course, who for years has had to be Dracula's servant, his slave, the guy that goes and gets the victims for Dracula, which was a concept that hasn't been brought up in such a long time. All right. And Renfield, after a while, he's getting sick and tired of the way Dracula treats him. All right. Renfield is feeling like the codependent. All right. He's the abused one. And Renfield, now he wants to be a hero. He wants to be a hero and he wants to save people after one night of accidentally doing it. All right. But the problem is Dracula doesn't like this at all. Dracula ain't having this. He's like, hey man, you're my, and you're going to stay my. And that's just going to be it. And so that's the premise of Renfield. Okay. Positives. The fight scenes were crazy. It kind of escalated. It went from like a level 10 to 100 slowly. Maybe 1,000. Okay. The first fight scene, he goes off. He shows you when he eats the bugs, this is what he can do. He can, flips and he gets his strength. He gets stronger. It's almost like he's overpowered. He kind of is overpowered. All right. And it's surprising. And so, you think that's it. But then as he moves along, the things he does with those powers get crazier and crazier and crazier. All right. It's just almost to a cartoonish level, but it is what it is. It was very entertaining for me on that aspect. All right. Another positive. The familiar being the codependent to Dracula was quite an interesting concept. All right. Because this isn't the first time they've had a familiar in a Dracula movie. Okay. It's been done a lot of times. They had a lot of familiars in the Blade franchise. Okay. But the way this was done, it was just really tackling that whole subject of, he's really an enabler to Dracula. Igor, or whatever you may call it, whatever their names may be, they're really enabling Dracula. If the familiar would just stand up and say, I'm not doing this. This is crazy. I'm not doing this, man. Now, mind you, a lot of the familiars are under a spell or are cursed to where they can't go against their boss. So that's another funny thing about this movie. But at the same time, it's just the fact that, they went into a whole thing about this. All right. That he was in a class with other people who are also codependents in relationships, but his relationship was a total different situation from theirs. They had no idea the entire time, and that's what also made it interesting and funny at the same time, because they had no idea that's what he was talking about until old Dracky shows up. Okay. And things go haywire. And I just like that kind of contrast between Dracula and him, and how they both just kind of are not good for each other. Okay. that never seen it done. I'm glad they actually finally thought of the idea to bring that to the big film. All right. Last positive. Nick Cage and Nick Hoult were probably the funniest characters in the entire movie. And of course, that's what you expect. All right. But then there's another issue with that, with another character, which was quite disappointing. We'll get into a little later on. But for now, they just both took turns bringing the laughs. All right. I already kind of felt that Nicolas Cage was going to be so over the top, like he always is, that you just can't help but laugh what he's doing. And he definitely did that. He did that with the makeup that was on his face, the stuff that the transformation he went through, because he was burnt a long time ago, and then he had to build his body back up. That's why Nick Hoult was out there, doing his thing for him. Right. So he's recovering. And that's a slow recovery. So every time you see Dracula, he's just looking bad. He's looking bad, real bad, but he still has this attitude. Like he's on top. He looks like something that crawled out the toilet. But you want to sit here and talk all this crap to Nick Hoult. That's the definite case of gaslighting and being an enabler to somebody, and just narcissistic people. All right. All this ran into case, and it was so hilarious to see this man just sit there and be so bold about this. And then Nick Hoult, with his reaction to doing what he does, and kind of realizing slowly that he doesn't have to do this his whole life for Dracula. That was funny. Negatives. And this is what I was talking about with the last one. All right. That character that disappointed me, Awkwafina, was not funny. Unfortunately, she was just not funny. There was a point in time in the film where she kind of made me laugh a couple of times, but it wasn't like her usual thing. It wasn't with the same intensity of how she usually makes me laugh. Okay. There were some jokes that just were straight up misses with her. And I don't think they really knew how to either write her character, or maybe she just wasn't feeling this role. I don't know, because it wasn't going anywhere. The jokes with her were not going anywhere. It was kind of almost forced, if anything else. All right. I was not feeling that. All right. She's done a better job in the past. With this, just no. And then her and the whole sister, I'll get into that later on, the whole sister thing. But just no. No. It was so weird. It was actually a weird thing to watch. Just her forcibly trying to be funny. Actually, sad. Very sad, man. My next negative. I gotta ask the question. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? The plot was so bad. It was so tacky and all over the place. I felt like a feeling in my stomach almost half the time when the lines started to go nowhere. The things they were saying were just, what is this? Why is this? Why would this happen right here? What are they doing here? Why do they choose to do this with the plot, with the script? Who wrote the script? All right, because it went south so fast. All right, you think the way that the trailer looked, that you were going to get a better storyline than what you get, but you don't. Besides the whole codependent thing, when it dropped off of that aspect, when you didn't see, let's put it like this, when you didn't see Nick Holt's character or Nicolas Cage's character in the screen, it was bad news. It was immediately bad news. And I hate to put it like that. Awkwafina could not carry this. She couldn't carry this in her solo efforts with this film. She just dropped the ball completely. All right. There was no effort from her part. Let's put it like that. All right. My last negative. I didn't have any sympathy, zero sympathy for any of the characters whatsoever. And the movie really tried hard to make me feel bad, especially for Awkwafina's character and her sister. Let's put it like this. And spoiler alert, if this is a spoiler for you, I don't know. But there's a thing where, you know, Awkwafina is a cop, right? She's an on-beat cop. Then her sister is FBI. All right. Now, the father used to be a cop, but then he lost his life to this big time gang in their city, which is why she's on this whole rampage against the gang repeatedly. And so we're already supposed to feel bad about her father being murdered and whatnot. And they just immediately go into the sad violin music once she gets in the hallway with her sister on this. All right. Because we had no idea her sister was even in the same precinct. That was kind of cool, but at the same time, it wasn't executed right. Okay. And it's just the way the whole banter between those two and their conversation, it wasn't working for me. You were really trying to make the tears come out. And unless you show like some backstory to that, or like a flashback or something, or how about this? Don't make it sad. It's a comedy. Kind of make it a messed up parody flashback where you show he gets killed in some kind of crazy way that's gonna make you laugh, even though you shouldn't laugh, but it's gonna make you laugh anyways. You could have done that, but they went with the whole violin tear thing, and it did not hit. I did not care about any of their sorrow in this movie. I'm sad to say that. All right. But I got to give this an I. Yes, I'm giving it an I. Now, I was going to make this a little lower than an I. It was going to be an eh. The thing that saved this is that codependency. I can't believe they went there, and I like it for that. Very creative to go that route. Press that like button, share it. You better subscribe.